Liberty Fighters Network.
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 Liberty Fighters Network. Liberty Fighters Network.
Good day, liberators and fellow South Africans. Well, over the years, and especially since 2020, when we became very well known for our COVID-19 theories challenges, legal challenges, people have become to know that we are not hypocrites. I am not a hypocrite. So whenever people has got a problem, and I've always invited people to do it, that if you believe that I'm an enemy, or Liberty Fighters Network is an enemy of the people actually, then I always invited people to please choose a podcast or social media forum of your choice, invite me to it, and live in front of the public, present your evidence that you've got against me and Liberty Fighters Network, and I will have to answer to that live. So I will not be able to be prepared. So you will catch me off guard if I'm a liar or deceitful or have made some sort of mistake. And where in the past I've made a mistake, I did come out each and every time to apologize and to ask, how can I make it right? And you know what? This is typically now a situation whereby if Muhammad does not want to go to the mountain has to go to Muhammad. I've been reaching out to the people involved in the Tariomix provisional liquidation, Louis Liebenberg and the investors, for about going probably for just over a week. When I've made two videos about the Tariomix liquidation. And in the one I've came clean about my relationship with Louis Liebenberg of the past. And I've also in part 2 gave my reasons, and I presented the evidence why the liquidation must not proceed. But irrespective, I also went ahead to say, let us meet with I would like to be a mediator between Louis Liebenberg and his investors. So what I did was that I planned this gathering in Mulder's Drift for this morning, Saturday, at a venue that we've used before, especially when Desmond Bernardo invited me to talk to his followers. And but in any event, so that specific venue is very safe, and there's no issue with it. But I didn't reveal the address of it. I wanted people to RSVP, and I wanted those investors, I wanted to talk to the investors so that I can get their mandate to intervene in the liquidation. But however, when that invitation was published for that meeting, several people came out and criticized it and used the opportunity to defame my good name. They've made allegations against me, which everyone who supports Liberty Fighters Network can testify that if there's anything that you lay in front of me and accuse me of something, you better bring the facts. Otherwise, I'm going to go after you. Now people like Veronica Pierce, and I found out that it's not even a right name. She's hiding behind alias. Jan Plaas, he's also hiding behind some image. And then also there was a Tanya, I think Tanya Liebenberg, coincidentally also the same surname as Louis. But I know that this lady cannot be a real creature. But in any case, they came out and started attacking me. Instead of where I've reached out to assist, instead of coming to me and say, thank you, Reyno, you said that you're going to assist us. How are you planning to do it? They started attacking me. So by attacking me, you have exposed yourself as the problem and as the agents who don't want to save Tariomix. So why do I still say that Tariomix need to be saved? And I will come out with further reasons that the investors in inverted commas, I need to add, You are heading for a trap. Now, apparently, another more than 50 investors have grouped together and also want to intervene in the Tariomix case because the two applicants there have withdrawn. So they wanted to come on board. They got an attorney. I don't know. I haven't seen the papers of the intervention application of whatsoever. But they've grouped together with an attorney. And you know what, people? I hate attorneys. I hate the judiciary. I hate the entire legal fraternity because they are all deceitful. They are all in there for the money, people. They will tell you that, oh, you're going to get all your money back and we're going to pursue these people. And at the end of the day, they know that they cannot guarantee that. They know for a fact that the chances that you as the investors will not get even 1 cent is extremely good. Those people know exactly that the chances of pursuing Louis Liebenberg for whatever criminality you are accusing him of will not happen. Your utopia of going to pursue Louis Liebenberg and he's going to sit behind jail, people, it's not going to happen. It's not. Ask me. I can refer you to one of the people I'm working with, or working with in the same direction, Johan Rood. Go and ask Johan Rood that last time I've spoken to him, he had 200 properly investigated cases, criminal cases against high portfolio people and with people with money. And not even one of those cases are being prosecuted. He constantly, just like we are doing on the civil action side, he must constantly break down walls to pursue these criminals, and he can't get to the point to actually have their day in court. People, let me just explain to you the trap that you are heading to. Number one, your claim that you claim you've got is not a claim. You're going to pursue the provisional liquidation, and let's say you are successful in finally liquidating the company. Then you're going to stand in the queue and say, I am a claimant of this. Then what the liquidators are going to do is, number one, they have to investigate the contract. And then, as you are heading to that Tariomix is apparently a pyramid scheme, surprise for you. If it is according to the liquidators a pyramid or Ponzi scheme, you lose your claim because you've participated in that. You're going to lose it. Your chances of getting your money, as the case currently stands, is between 0 and nothing. Further, if you have received monies before out of this Ponzi or pyramid scheme, you become a fellow debtor to that, and you will have to repay those monies you have received. Wow. The other point is, people, the court has not declared the contract as invalid. However, you who are pursuing the liquidation, you are going to allow that the liquidators and eventually the master of the High Court are going to declare it as a Ponzi or pyramid scheme in order, listen to this, in order not to pay you out because you've participated in a pyramid scheme and a Ponzi scheme. You are just as guilty then as Louis Liebenberg at that point in time. And you know what, people? Unless Louis is criminally charged and found guilty of running a pyramid scheme, which I can tell you now that in terms of the Ponzi scheme and pyramid scheme definition, he is not a pyramid or Ponzi scheme operator. The monies, your monies that you think you're going to get out of this is going to stay there because your contract is actually a consumer contract. Your agreement basically says that I'm paying money now, prepay it, in order to tell Tariomix or whichever company is there to be my agent in purchasing diamonds for me or whatever the case may be, and then resell it at a profit at some stage in future, and then pay me my profit. That's a consumer contract, people. The Consumer Protection Act is applicable in this matter. Otherwise, you have invested or paid monies or borrowed monies, then it might be an incidental credit agreement where you borrowed money and you expected profits or an increase on your loan. And if you are not registered as a credit provider, you lose your claim. You don't have one claim, not even your capital can be returned. Who's going to get the benefit at the end of the day? The very person which you are now accusing as the pyramid scheme operator, Liebenberg, as probably, I don't know who the shareholders in Tariomix is, but if all the claims of all the investors are going to be rejected, which I see is almost 100%, or at least someone like a Liebenberg is going to pursue that if it's not rejected. The very person you are accusing of running the scheme, Liebenberg, and his shareholders in that company, whoever they are going, then there's no claim, and then all the monies received in that goes over to them, it's distributed between them, and then the liquidation comes to an end. Where the very person you don't want your money to have will sit with it. That is what's going to happen, people. And you, Veronica Pierce, Jan Plaas, Tanya Liebenberg, Johan Smit, you are the guys accusing me of trying to have some deal with Liebenberg. The hell with you, really. I have tried to help you, but you are the agents. You are there for the bloody liquidators. You are the ones who's going to rip off each and every one of these investors who have put in everything they've got into this bloody scheme. Sorry, people. I cannot take this, really. I cannot see that people who are being ripped off by people who are hiding behind aliases like a Veronica Pierce and Jan Plaas and Tanya Liebenberg or Johan Smit or a Ludewijkus, whatever. I can't believe that people, you can't realize that you are heading for a trap. I'm getting very emotional about this because I've seen the damage which this bloody type of business have done to 1,812 shareholders in Well4U. And Veronica Pierce, Jan Plaas, Johan Smit and Tanya Liebenberg. You wanted me to give the reasons why I'm involved. I was approached by someone who says that this person is representing or has wants to assist 900 investors who stand to lose their monies. Apparently, they've combinedly invested over 100 million rand into the scheme. So once I've received the documentation of the liquidation, I just saw red lights. I remembered what the hell happened in Well4U. And then I decided I have to get involved. The second reason is, by now, everyone who's supporting Liberty Fighters Network and myself knows that I am also the representative for former President Jacob Zuma on African Union level. Not South Africa, on an international level, where he has pursued his imprisonment sentence, original imprisonment sentence. I am his representative there. And I've seen that in the commissioner's report, Jacob Zuma was implicated as some sort of criminal receiving money from Liebenberg. People, on last week Saturday afternoon, the 12th of August, Jacob Zuma phoned me to thank me in the first instance for the part I've taken, or my part in his release. Because via the African Union, the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, where I represent him and I'm pushing that case for him, Cyril Ramaphosa was compelled, had no other option but to release him. So the story that was put in the media and before the public is not the correct case, because the African Union, via the case that I have presented, has asked him to do that. During that phone call I had with him, Louis Liebenberg popped up. And Jacob Zuma told me that, please Reyno, please my brother, that's what he always called me. Louis Liebenberg is a good person and he has got a good heart. Please help him to save his company and the investors. Jacob Zuma asked me to do that. And as golly wolly, I will do that. With or without Louis' cooperation. On the 16th, Louis made a video where he was sitting in his call center. It looked like that. A video I was asked to watch by the people that have come to me, also the additional ones who reached out to me or who came to ask assistance. In that video, Louis made the announcement or the statement that I need to contact him to find, so that he can find out what I want to do. People, I've reached out to Louis since September last year when I heard for the first time about the Tariomix problems. Or not that the liquidation is going to proceed or has been at that point. I've tried to reach out and he declined. Notwithstanding the 2 videos I've made already, he declined to come in contact with me. The investors have asked me to communicate with him through Walter and through others. But they came back. When I've reached out after the 16th to say, okay, Louis has now again in front of the public asked me to come and assist, or he wants to listen what my story is. I reached out to him again. I went to him. He's actually the one, he and the investors are the ones who actually need my assistance, but I had to go to him. Okay. And the message I got was, jy weet hoe voel Louis oor jou, from one of his representatives. So, Louis was deceitful. He wasn't open with you guys that he really wanted me to communicate with him, because he has never once phoned me, he has never once communicated with me. I was constantly the one trying to get hold of him. He was the mountain, or he was Muhammad and I was the mountain, because now the mountain must go to him. But in any case, people, I and Liberty Fighters Network will become involved in the Tariomix chaos. I see that if Louis Liebenberg is sincere to say that he wants to save Tariomix, he will play the game with all the others. There's not going to be any compromise. There will be a cooperation between Louis Liebenberg and all the investors henceforward. The other problem that I've got is that there's apparently 44,000 investors. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt that there have been 4 billion rand in this business. I honestly believe that for some reason the numbers have been exploded, have been made much more than it's supposed to. And I can only think that it's a marketing strategy to influence others to also put money into the system. Because why do I say so? I doubt whether there's more than 2,000-3,000, if ever, investors in Tariomix, because of the fact that my experience in Wealth for You is that those days when I assisted Louis Liebenberg with the marketing of the shares in Wealth for You, we had a budget, a monthly budget. That's 2006, 2007, around there. We had a monthly budget of between 200 and 500,000 rand plus minus. The later months, it's more towards 500,000 rand than 200,000. We had advertisements running in the Sunday Times, in the Rapport, in the U magazine, in the Huisgenoot, in the Beeld, all over the show. We had every single issue. We had advertisements running, and that's to black and white, to Afrikaans and English and all other languages, whoever wanted to participate. In Tariomix, it appears as if marketing was more done towards the Afrikaans-speaking communities rather than the English-speaking ones. But in that time, notwithstanding the major budget and all the meetings that were held constantly all over South Africa, the seminars that were organized, we only managed to get 120 million rand and 1,812 investors. How Louis has managed in such a short space of time, especially over the lockdown period, have obtained 44,000 people to invest in a period where people did not have money, and apparently collect 4 billion rand. I think you believe, you are pursuing the liquidation on the ground that Louis has hidden monies. I'm telling you now, the chances that there's anything more than you have seen through the liquidators' reports are between 0 and nothing. And I wanted actually to say another word. You are being misled, people. And it's not coming specifically from Louis Liebenberg. If you know the industry of liquidation and the industry of the legal fraternity, you will know that dogs eat dogs. It's all about the money. If the liquidators come out and have all these reports and there's a final liquidation, and they come up with, oh, we've collected this, and this is, we reject all the claimants' claims, and they come out, we're going to take our commission that we are entitled with, which are going to be millions, and then the rest will be put back into the shareholders of Tariomix will get anything else that's left over. And with no claim that's going to be paid out, that I almost want to guarantee is going to happen, legally, Louis Liebenberg is going to sit with everything. Legally. And you don't have anything to say to stop that. What should have happened was that you should have approached, because this is a consumer-related problem. You guys should have gone to the Consumer Commission of South Africa. You had to ask them to investigate the pyramid scheme and your consumer contract and everything. Free of charge. You would not have spent one cent. You did not have to go and get a lawyer and pay them millions to do that for you. The other alternative was that in terms of that contract, you had to first refer the matter to arbitration, which none of you did, because arbitration costs nothing you can be there yourself. What does cost money is the arbitrator, which you will most probably have to pay, because Tariomix will say, I don't have a dispute with you, you've got a dispute with me, so you must pay the arbitrator, which is going to cost you about 50,000 rand or so, or 100,000 rand. But between 44,000 investors, there should have not been any problem. And yes, whatever the arbitrator says, you cannot appeal it, but you can review it in court. And then it's a court procedure. But at that stage, you also don't have to to get a lawyer. Or 44,000 could easily have then put money into a decent one, if there's ever one decent one left, with all due respect, and have pursued this further. But in any case, I think that you are crucifying the wrong person. I have always been there, and Liberty Fighters Network to assist. And here comes the other assessment, which just proves my sincerity. Just like we are helping all the people who need assistance free of charge, inclusive Jacob Zuma. Free of charge, not expecting anything in return. Those of you who have put money in this Tariomix and have since defaulted on your bank or whatever, please come in contact with us. We are prepared to assist you free of charge, to at least, while we're sorting out the issues with Tariomix, we can at least help you to keep your home and to keep your car. We cannot guarantee that we're going to succeed, but at least we are prepared to assist you, just like we are doing with several other cases pursuing where the banks are trying to take the homes, cars and everything. We are prepared to assist you as well. But in any case, people, I will most probably organize a virtual meeting between the investors, and I invite Veronica Peers, Jan Plaas, Jan Smit, and this Tanya Liebenberg. What? Please be there. Show your faces. Talk to me. Interrogate me while we are in that virtual meeting. Interrogate me. Let me then answer your questions totally unprepared. That is my challenge to you, if you have the courage to take me on. People, let's leave it now. Please share this with everyone who are involved in Tariomix and related companies. I want, and that is the other thing. If there have been 44,000 people, why did my videos that I send out, which are so critical, why has the most views on that, inclusive of our supporters and people who regularly watch it, only have reached about I think it's now about 3,500. Is it that 44,000 people or 41,500 people just simply have lost faith, or they're not interested, or they don't exist? I caught Skalk van der Merwe with this, that he suddenly had this massive group of 20,000 people, whatever, in a very short space of time. But his views were also very, very little. That's already an indication that, this person most probably have gone out and purchased participants. Go and Google this. You can purchase participants, fake accounts on your group. So if you are in a We Hate Louis group, the chances are very good that 99% of all the others with you in that are all fake accounts, because it has been purchased. But let me leave it here. You've got the message now. I challenge anyone who wants to defame my good name and my organization's good name to come out and challenge me in public on a live feed. Godspeed until the next time.
Liberty Fighters Network.
Liberty Fighters Network.
Liberty Fighters Network.
Liberty Fighters Network.